Hey folks, in this episode we're going to optimize Blender to speed up your workflow. By default, every time you open up Blender you find that you have to change the same settings over and over again, and that's just a complete waste of time. By changing these settings and saving them as Blender's default, it will save you hours and hours of tedious work in the long run. So the first thing we will do is we'll go to Edit, Preferences, we'll then navigate to System, and for your rendered device we're going to change this to CUDA or Optics depending on what GPU you have. I've got a GTX Titan XP, so I'm going to be using CUDA. For the back end I've got this set to Vulkan. I'm using Blender 5.1 and it's set to Vulkan by default. The next thing we'll do is enable Allow Online Access down here, and this just allows you to download extensions and add-ons. I'll then click this button down here and I'll click Save Preferences. I'll then close this window. I'll navigate to my render tab over here. With it set to Eevee, I'm going to enable ray tracing. I'll also expand the shadows options and I'll enable volume shadows. I'll just collapse the shadow options here. I'll then change my render engine from Eevee to Cycles, and for the device type I'm going to change it from CPU to GPU. I'll enable denoising for the viewport. I'm going to change my noise threshold through the render to 0.025. I'll also decrease my max samples to 512. I'll then navigate to light paths. I'll expand these options. I'll scroll down and I'll disable reflective and refractive caustics. I would only enable reflective and refractive caustics if I was to use them in my scene. I'll then scroll down. I'll expand color management. I'll scroll down. I'm going to change the view transform from AGX to ACES 2.0, and I'm going to increase the gamma to 1.5. I'll now navigate to my output tab over here. I'm going to change my frame rate from 24 FPS to 30 FPS, and the only reason I'm using 30 frames per second is because my screen capture is recording at 30 FPS. So you can choose the frame rate which is suited to your pipeline. We'll then navigate to the output section down here. We'll click this folder icon, and this is where your image sequences will save by default. I've got a folder set up called Blender Cache. I'll then click Accept. So now whenever I render out an image sequence, I know it will be saved in this folder here. We'll then select an output file format of your choosing. By default, Blender is set to PNG with RGBA, but for me, I'm going to choose a file format of OpenEXR with a codec of DWAA lossy, and that will decrease my file size whilst increasing dynamic range. And the reason I'm going with OpenEXR because it fits in nicely with my DaVinci Resolve pipeline for color grading and whatnot. I'll then go back to my render tab up here. I'll then go to Edit, Preferences, and under Add-ons you should see an add-on called Node Wrangler, which comes shipped with Blender now by default. We'll enable that node, and if I go back to System, and where we enabled Allow Online Access, we can now go to Get Extensions, and this is where you download add-ons from. So I'll just show you how to install an add-on. So in the search bar I'm going to type in Extra Curve Objects. I'll then click Install. I'll then go to my add-ons tab over here, and I'll just check that the Extra Curve Objects add-on is enabled, which it is. Excellent. I'll give you a brief overview of that in a minute. In the add-ons search bar I'm going to type in like and subscribe. Thanks folks, you absolute legends. I'll just close that. I'll then navigate to file paths down here. I'll then change the temporary files directory to my Blender Cache location. I'll click Accept. I'll also do the same for Render Cache. I'll then navigate to System. I'm going to click this icon down here and I'll click Save Preferences. I'll just close this window. For the extra curve objects, I'm going to hit Shift A. We'll go Curve, and now you can see that you've got all these extra curve objects. I'll just give you a demonstration of the bounce spline, for example. So I'm going to select this cube here, Shift A, we go Curve, we choose Knots, and we'll choose Bounce Spline. I'll then expand the bounce spline options in the bottom left. Maybe I'll go into wireframe view so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to reduce the bounces to 100. And essentially, that's all the bounce spline does. It just occupies the volume of an object. So I'll just collapse these settings down here. You can go to your curve data over here. We go to geometry. I'm going to increase the bevel depth, and then we can go to the start and end mapping, and we can animate these values here if you wanted to. Anyway, this isn't about the extra curve objects, although I would keep that add-on enabled by default. Hit delete. I'll go back into my solid view. I'll just hit T to hide the toolbar. I'm going to take my cursor to the bottom left of the 3D viewport until I see a crosshair. I'll left click and drag up and open up a new window. I'll then change this window from the 3D viewport to the shader editor. I'll select my default cube, In my shader editor, I'm going to hit N, hide the N panel, and I'm going to go into Material Preview. So now that we've enabled the node Wrangler, I'll quickly demonstrate my most used shortcuts for the node Wrangler. So the first one is we're going to select the principal BSDF, so we've got an active shader. I'll then hit Ctrl T, and that will add a texture coordinate, a mapping, and an image texture. You can then click Open to add an image texture. For the next one, I'll just box select these. I'm going to hit Delete. I'll select the principal BSDF, and with the principal BSDF selected, we'll hit Ctrl Shift T, locate some PBR texture maps. So for me, I'm going to use a cardboard pleated wrinkled texture, which I got from Polyhaven. I'll select a normal map. I'm going to hold down Control. I'll select an ambient oculation map. I'll select a displacement map. I'll select a color map, and I'll select a reflection map. I'll then click Add Principal Texture Setup. As you can see, it's added the entire PBR image texture workflow, albeit the ambient oculation, and that's easy enough to mix in. We just hit Shift A, we go Color, and we'll choose Mix Color, and we'll pop that in between there. I'll then plug the ambient oculation into the bottom socket. We can then change the mix type from Mix to Multiply, and now we can use this factor to blend in the ambient oculation. On the mapping node, I'm just going to change the scale to 2.5. Another good shortcut is if I wanted to preview this image texture, I could hit Control, Shift and left click, and that will connect it directly into the surface socket of the material output for a quick preview. We can do the same for the principal BSDF, so I'm going to hold down Control, Shift and left click. Another good shortcut is Shift right mouse button and drag, and that will add a reroute node. So I'll do that again 2 more times. I can then select these 2 reroute nodes. I'm going to hit SX0, and that will straighten those out. I can then select these 2 and hit SY0. So then if I box select this one, I'm going to hit GY, and this is how we neaten up the node structure. A similar shortcut is hold down Control, right mouse button and drag, and that will disconnect the noodle. Or we can select a node or a reroute node and hit Control X, and that will dissolve the node. Another good shortcut to remember is Alt S, and what that does is we select an active node, we then hit Alt S, and that will swap the noodles into different sockets. The final shortcut I'm going to show you will be the Lazy Connect. So I'm just going to hold down Control, right click and drag through there to disconnect that. All we have to do to get Lazy Connect to work is hold down Alt, hover your cursor anywhere over the first node, right mouse button click and drag across to the next node. And of course, if it's plugged into the wrong socket, you just select that node and you hit Alt S. So I'm just going to delete all these image textures. If you have added any image textures to your file while following this, delete them now. Just leave the principal BSDF, and after you've done that, we go to File, we go Cleanup, and we'll go Purge Unused Data. And as you can see, we've got 1 curve and 4 images, so we'll click Delete. And before saving this as a startup file, I'm just going to hit numpad 1, numpad period. I'll then hit Control Alt numpad 0, and that will align the camera to the 3D viewport. I'll then select the camera. I'm going to go to my Object Data tab over here, and I'm going to set the Z location to 1.7. And the reason I set it to 1.7 is because on average for an adult, the eye level is at 1.7 meters. I'll then just drag this back on the y-axis until everything's in frame, and I keep it set to around about there. I'll just select the default cube, I'll increase my shader editor, and now with all these settings dialed in, I'm going to go to File, Defaults, and we'll choose Save Startup File. I'll then click Overwrite, and from here, every time we load Blender, all the settings will be preserved and dialed in. Making these changes and dialing in the settings is a boring task, but now that you've saved them, you won't ever have to do them again, and this will save you hours upon hours of tedious work. There's one more setting I like to change, but this is more down to personal preference, and that's the animation interpolation type. So by default, it's set to Bezier. So I'm just going to go to Edit, Preferences, and under Animation, I'm going to change the default interpolation type from Bezier to Linear. I'll then click this button here. I'm going to click Save Preferences. I'll then close this window, and all that does is ensure that I've got a constant animation speed. So if I was to animate this cube from point A to point B with Bezier, if I was to hit play, the animation would start off slow, it would speed up, and then it would slow down towards the end. But with linear, it's a constant speed. And the reason I choose the linear animation interpolation type, it gives more of a cinematic feel to the camera animation, and I also find it a bit better for motion graphics. That's just a personal preference. So I'll just select the default cube. I'm going to go File, defaults, save startup file, overwrite. If you enjoyed this video, don't stop now. The next one's right here. Stay sharp, have a great day, and level up.